guys. Coming back for the second episode. In the last one, we said we were going to talk about the Euro 2021 squad. Gareth Southgate will be selecting this Tuesday, actually. So let's see what we've gone for. Just to put it out there, this isn't a team we think he's going to choose. This is a team we'd like him to choose. Okay, so yeah. Elliot, anything you want to add about just for England, like our hopes? What do you think we're going to do in the tournament?
I'm feeling pretty positive about it, to be honest. I think since the last sort of competition we played in as a nation, we've obviously got that a little bit of momentum going forward into this one. We've got a lot of sort of new young players that are coming to the squads that are showing a lot of promise, as are a lot of the other nations. But no, I'm feeling pretty good about it. How about yourself?
I have to agree. I think I was looking at the squad we had at the 2018 World Cup, and if we're being brutally honest, we got as far as we did on the luck of the draw. Our squad wasn't that strong, to be honest. You're looking at our team now, and there's just an abundance of like talent. It's like ridiculous type thing. So yeah, it's picking. We're not doing squads, so we're doing a starting 11. I told Elliot 5 subs. I couldn't choose between one, so I went for 6. Just put it out there.
I haven't stopped to 5. I think I've got 7 down, to be honest.
Oh mate, at least I made like a tough decision. I sort of like picked the players. I was like, oh, he's in, and I haven't thought about this tactically. I'm like, I don't have a defender on my bench.
No, that's
like,
the thing. Good. Yeah, to make it more realistic, sort of like, it had to be more than 5. But no, you didn't. Yeah, so I've done 6. We'll go through what we've got. I thought it was more about the starting 11, really, wasn't it? That's the biggest sort of point of discussion, I think. Around who's actually going to get the England
squad itself has got. Yeah, we've got so much depth as a squad. I don't think the squad selection is. I think you're going to have a few players who miss out type thing because there's a lot of talent, but the squad in general, I think whoever he picks, it's going to be strong enough to win this competition. It's just whether or not the starting 11 he picks is the best one we can possibly have to win the competition. Like the squad is good enough to win the competition. His actual management skills will determine if we win it or not. That's the way I see it. But so I would say let's start with formations, but I don't really want to give your formation away straight away because it gives away who you're going to be picking. So sort of like we'll do start goalkeeper, do that on its own, and then do defence. We won't say our formation until we just go through each line first because otherwise it kind of gives away who we're going to be picking. Yeah, right, so okay. I'll go first. My goalkeeper, I'm going to go out and straight and say my goalkeeper is Pope. I think Pope's the best goalkeeper we have. I think Pickford's improved, but I think goalkeeping, Pope, best shot stopper out of all ones in contention, I think. No,
I think that's fair enough. To be honest, in the goalkeeper position, I'd be happy with Pickford, Henderson or Pope. I think all 3 of them would do a good job. I've gone for Pickford personally, purely based on the fact that he played in the previous competition. He's got that experience at this level, and also I think his performances this season has warranted a place in the starting 11 as well. I think he has improved, as he said. So yeah,
the second half of the season, definitely,
particular second half of the season. I think he deserves a place, and I couldn't come up with a reason not to select him. Was probably the main thing.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. When you're looking at experience, he's got it. He's been there, done it. And if you actually look at our World Cup, yes, I said about luck of the draw. We went to a penalty shootout. He's brought us through that first time since, don't quote me on this, was it 80s or something like that? First time we've actually won a penalty shootout in a major competition. So, yeah, he's got the experience. So I think he's got a mistake in him, whereas Pope, I don't really see it. Henderson's the one I don't like. I've been watching him recently, and he makes a lot of mistakes. He doesn't look confident in between the sticks, to be honest, compared to Pope and Pickford. Pickford will make a mistake, but he's arrogant about it. Yeah. He's confident, which it sounds weird, but I want that. I don't mind if you're making a mistake. If you're got your chest out and confident. That's what you want in your goalkeeper, because it puts the strikers off. But if you're a bit like closed in, a bit all nervous, strikers love that. And I think Henderson will be exposed like he has for United, and now he's been dropped, hasn't he? So I don't see him getting in the team at all. I think it's either Pickford or Pope.
I do agree. I think another thing with the Pickford is I think it's the most realistic one. I know we talked about this being what we would like rather than what we think Southgate will go for, but I think it's pretty obvious that Southgate's going to go for Pickford as well.
Yeah, there's no question marks about it really. Okay, so going to the defence. Do you want to lead off on this one?
Well, we did touch on this a little bit yesterday. We haven't revealed anything.
Yeah.
But I think you kind of got from what I was saying that I've gone for 3 at the back, which I can completely understand why it might be a little bit controversial. But I really strongly back it. So my 3 at the back, I've gone for Maguire, Stones, and Walker, which, as you kind of said, being a 3 at the back, I think there's no other options really. That those are the best 3 compared to 3.
I agree with you. There's no other options. We'll get on to the rest of the team, but I think 3 at the back. I think the worry of 3 at the back is we're sort of like just accepting like we're going to be a bit like Chelsea. Like we're just going to not like you because you dominate the games a bit, but some teams and like the team we had at the World Cup, we didn't dominate the ball. We sort of like just sat back and let other teams just exploit us a bit, and that's my only worry. I just see this heap of young talent, players which, let's be honest, are the best talents in Europe. You've got Mason Mount, Foden playing at the Champions League final, and they're arguably the 2 best players on their own teams. Like stand-up performers.
Right.
I know we're on about defence at the moment, but I feel for me, a 3rd centre back is taking away one of them attacking talents.
No,
personally,
I completely agree with that, but I think you can look at it from the other perspective. If you're comparing it again to the last World Cup, we've got a lot more talent in those 4 positions, right? I think staying in that same formation doesn't necessarily take away from that. I think the fact that we've got the talent up there, that they can still go and do their thing. I think the fact that we know that our defence is slightly weaker strengthens the argument to have 3 at the back, because you do need that sort of stability within that. So I think having the 3 at the back does provide that best balance, because yes, it allows us to be strong and solid, but it doesn't. I don't think it necessarily takes away too much from the sort of attacking free play that we can have with this team.
Tactically, no, I agree with you. I just think the person. It's not more tactically for me. It's more of a personnel. And this is going to sound like a really weird point, but if you're having 3 at the back, I don't know what you're going to say for your next player, but I may be completely wrong here. But if you're playing 3 at the back, you're kind of saying you would prefer to have like Chilwell in that left wing position rather than play someone like Sancho or Rashford. I may be wrong here, but that's like, and the way I see that, if I'm having that like choice, I prefer to have a 4 back and then have an out and out attacker rather than come through our fullbacks type. If like, I may be wrong on the prediction there, but that's how I think you're seeing it.
We'll move on to that in a sec. But so, what have you gone for as your
okay, but so I've gone 4 back, and I like to add there's one player who isn't in the squad because there's no possibility of him going, but I think would have been in my squad, even in my starting lineup, and that's Wan-Bissaka. Because I think I agree with you, we need to be defensively strong, and that is a big weakness. And Wan-Bissaka defensively is superb. He's absolutely superb. He plays with Harry Maguire week in, week out, who is another player I've got in the back line. But for whatever reason, Southgate will not pick him. But so I've gone for Maguire and Stones as centre backs, because I think Stones definitely this season has been superb in that position next to Ruben Diaz. Maguire, I think you've seen it since he's been injured. United look shaky. I've gone for experienced right back, Kyle Walker. Trent, he's a defensive liability, and especially with Henderson being injured, I'll get into why also I haven't gone for Trent later on. Walker, he's been there, done it, hasn't he? And left back, based on this season alone, Luke Shaw's got to be in there. He's been absolutely superb this season.
I agree.
So yeah, that's my 4.
I think that right back discussion is really interesting because there's such an abundance of players we've got in that position, and I think that we could have a whole podcast on literally that position in itself.
Right back,
yeah.
I think you can make a whole England team out of just right back.
Yeah, trust. So the two I've gone for as my fullbacks, I've gone for Shaw as the left wing back and Trent on the right.
Oh, okay.
I've gone for Trent because we've got that 3 sort of central defenders behind him just to provide that support, because we know he's not as strong as your Wan-Bissaka and your Reece James going back. But yeah, I think having that 3 at the back gives him the license to get forward a little bit more and gives him a little bit less responsibility defensively. And going on to the left side, I think I completely agree with you with Luke Shaw. I think as a Chelsea fan, I could easily go for Chilwell because I think he's done really well this season as well. But I think from a non-biased standpoint, I think Luke Shaw has had a better season, and yeah, he deserves that position. I think if I was to go for the back like you, I think Walker's probably a very good shout. I'd also say Reece James should be brought into the conversation a little bit more there as well, because I think he's got the best of both worlds in terms of going forward and having the defensive abilities, whereas the Wan-Bissaka, he doesn't offer as much going forward. And then, as we said earlier, Trent, he does a lot going forward and doesn't provide that defensive stability. So yeah, I think as a wing back, Trent offers the most.
Yeah, I feel the right back. Like you said, it's a podcast in its own, because you've almost got Walker and Reece James who are kind of laughing in a sense, because they're like, we don't offer as much going forward as the likes of Trippier or Trent. We're not as defensively strong as Wan-Bissaka, but because we've got that balance, we're most likely to get picked, because that's the fortunate thing they've got. So I think Walker and Reece James, that will be the decision he has.
Yeah.
The only way Trent gets in for me is starting is if, like you said, 3 back, or if he had 2 defensive holding midfielders and one of them being Henderson, as Henderson covers Trent for Liverpool when they play a fullback. That's how he play.
Mm-hmm.
He covers Trent. But with the likes of formation I've gone with, and also Henderson not being fit, I don't think you can start Trent. I'll get on to. I'm going to leave Trent out of it because I want to come on to him a bit later. But yeah, for me, Walker, most well-rounded player, experience, been there, done that. I think we haven't got enough strong individuals in defence, so I think we need experience back line.
Mm-hmm.
Just cut the mistakes out. Okay, let's move on to. So you've done your 2 fullbacks. So I don't know. Don't just do your fullbacks. Do your midfield, because your fullbacks and midfield, it's the same area really.
Okay. So my 2 in midfield then. I've gone for Declan Rice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do that.
Declan Rice, and assuming that he's going to be fit, I've gone for Jordan Henderson.
Oh no!
Because I think that's a powerhouse midfield. I'd be looking forward to that if it comes up in the team sheet. I think Henderson provides, as you said, the support to Trent on that side. They've obviously got their sort of chemistry playing for Liverpool, and I think Rice, it's like a seriously underrated player, to be fair. He's obviously come a little bit more into the limelight this season. I think he's proven himself as a top player, but I think he's going to be key in this team coming into this competition.
Oh, yeah. Your team screams out 40% possession.
Really?
Again, tactically, I see where you're coming from. I do. I see where you're coming from. Tactically, we're going to have the strength of the three at the back. You're going to have Trent going forward. You're going to have Luke Shaw. I will add, though, quickly, this is going to be quite. I know Luke Shaw's got forward and contributed a bit. In that left wing position, I think Chilwell's a better player than Luke Shaw. I genuinely believe that because Luke Shaw plays as a back four for Man United and then gets forward type thing. I think as a left wing back, I'd say Chilwell is a better option than Luke Shaw. I don't know what. It's just like
I can see that argument
for
as well.
Chelsea.
Yeah, obviously he's probably got a little bit more experience playing that position this season.
Yeah,
but as I said, I think Shaw has shown enough this season, and I think he's made his case to start in this 11.
Yeah.
I think equally, I'd happily have Chilwell starting. I think that could go either way. To be honest, I wouldn't be too bothered.
Of course you would. All right, I'll go with my midfield. Automatically, do you know what vibe I'm getting? I feel like I'm standing up for all the football-loving fans which want to see a free-flowing, absolute goal fest.
Don't paint it like that.
And I think you are just going for the Gareth Southgate waistcoat. Keep it calm. Keep it relaxed.
I've gone for a team that I think can win.
Be fine.
I've gone for a team that I think can win.
Tactically, I see it. This is the inner Spurs fan. I don't want to win. I just want to play well. Which we're doing none of at the moment. But all right, my midfield. It's kind of based on fitness. But if Henderson was fit, I still go Rice. I rate Rice so highly. Mm-hmm. He's such a really, really good player. And I think people underestimate because Souček at West Ham, he's got the goals and stuff. If you actually really watch West Ham, Souček sort of has a bit of a free roll. Goes up a bit, pushes out wide a little bit, like does whatever he wants, which is surprising when you're like 6'5". Mm-hmm. And Rice holds the ship for them. Like he's so disciplined for his age.
He's key.
So I've got Rice in the middle, and he's key. And then the two people in front of him, this is where the magic happens, mate. Mount and Foden. I've got a 3-man midfield. I've got Rice as the central defensive midfield. He's going to hold the ship. I've got Walker and Shaw because I would worry about Mount and Foden middle. Oh, that could be a bit questionable. But I think with Walker and Shaw, I think they're experienced enough and smart enough to know when to sit back. Also, you've got Foden, who he's a workhorse. He does get back, puts his foot in. And you notice with Foden as well, he's not afraid to put his foot in.
No.
I think that three of Rice just holding up ship and Mount and Foden, there you go. License to thrill. Honestly, excited by it, but it's not going to happen.
Well,
so at the moment 4-3. I'm 4-3 at the moment, so I've got 3 attackers.
Yeah,
and I think this is where the big questions lie. This is where the big questions lie because you can say you've got the argument of 3 or 4 and the back type thing, and that sort of takes one attacker out of it, which I was saying earlier. But I think there was no questions about Mount, Foden, Rice. I think they're all I think they're starting 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'm trying to think. So you've gone 3 defenders, you've gone fullbacks, goalkeeper, and so you've got 3.
So I've gone.
You've done this,
I've gone for a 2 and a 1.
1. Yeah, I know exactly who you've gone for now. I just can't believe there's 4 players you've left out, and it's criminal.
I wouldn't be too sure, mate. So my 2 then is Foden and Mount. And then obviously the one up top is Kane. So I don't think there's anybody else in that squad that are must starters other than the ones that I've selected.
What's
in that
the time
11.
now? The time is 3:27. So kick-off for the final Premier League games is at 4:00. I will ask you. When the podcast ends, I'll ask you at let's say quarter. I'll ask you at 6 o'clock. Why the hell you have not picked Jack Grealish when he absolutely dismantles you in a game tonight? I
sorry. I completely agree with the fact that he's in a very good shout for this team, and a couple of months ago, 100%. But just the fact that he's been injured for quite a lengthy period now, I don't know. It's just. I think it's just. It's putting
I
under
agree.
the radar. And I think he
Again,
he could come into this team, and I'd be very happy with that. But I think right now, as we're having this conversation, he won't start.
I'll ask you at 6 o'clock, Elliot.
Okay,
I'll ask you at 6
we'll
o'clock. But all right, that's one of the players I said you've left out. You've also left out the likes of Rashford.
Yeah.
You've left out the likes of Sterling, and you've also
Yeah.
left out Sancho. You've left out 4. Mate,
Okay, so
just to get it
I can
off,
argue against those.
my attackers. Okay, well,
No,
I'll say my attackers
you
first.
do yours first, yeah.
All right, so Kane up top, and my whole point of this team is possession-based football. I want Foden, Mount dictating play. I don't like Kane. He's not a runner in behind. He holds up the ball, and I just want to have the ball. I just want to hold the ball. Like, these players are so talented with the ball. So I've gone Grealish on the left wing. On the right wing, I've gone Sancho, and I just want to add on Sancho. He plays in Germany. He plays Dortmund, and I think that he gets pushed aside a little bit because we're not seeing you every day in Premier League. Germany's a good league. The German league is very good. I think it's the most similar to the Premier League out of all the other leagues in terms of like, yes, you have like the same winner every year, but that's because the difference in finances is ridiculous. But in terms of like any team can beat any team on any given day, it can happen over there. And he's got 30 plus goal contributions this year, Sancho. Like he's had an outstanding season now, and I think people have just forgotten about him, to be honest. But yeah, for me, Grealish and Sancho, what they've done this year, I understand what you're saying about the injury, but I saw Grealish the other night when he came off the bench, and I saw him in the Tottenham game, and he dictated the play. He just runs the show. And I think also by having a player like that, the reason I haven't picked Sterling or Rashford as starters is because Sterling hasn't had a good season. I don't think Rashford's had an amazing season, to be honest. But I don't really. They make the runs type thing, but I feel having a player like Sancho or Grealish who will hold that ball, take players away, will give even more space for Mount and Foden to come in behind. Like, because you don't want any of them guys just holding the if you're a defender, you don't want any of them guys out wide just having the ball, because if you give them too much time, they're going to do something against you.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's more chance of them dragging it out and more space being opened up if we have them playing rather than having like Sterling or Rashford playing, because I think that, to be honest, they're all they do is really run type thing, and like I don't know.
Yeah,
I think their season
that was part of my reasoning.
Good enough for me.
That was part of my reasoning. I think I agree with you. Sterling hasn't had a great season. He's also a player that I don't think has a huge impact on the game if the rest of his team isn't playing well. He's not someone that can sort of drag the team up to a different level, as Foden and Mount this season have proved that they can do. Rashford, he's had a good season in terms of numbers, but in terms of his performance, I don't think he warrants a place ahead of Foden and Mount again. I think Sancho's an interesting one, and I agree with you the fact that I haven't seen as much of him compared to the players that play in the Premier League. Probably adds a little bias into that. And we already talked about Grealish, and as I said, like I take back the fact that he's not a must starter, because I think he probably is. But as I said, the fact that he's been injured probably just takes away a little bit from that. So that was my reasoning, really. I think Foden and Mount just add that extra element to the game. They're obviously classy players, but I think they can drag the team to a higher level, whereas I don't think Sterling and Rashford can.
Yeah, in terms of your squad, I think you've gone for a team who can win. In like tactically, I think you've based it very much off Tuchel, or like Tuchel, or whatever pronunciation is. It's almost a replica. You've gone Henderson and Rice. That's your Kovacic and Jorginho.
Yeah.
Your 2 is pretty much Conte. Wait, it was just a strange subject. Was Conte playing today?
No, he's got a little bit. He pulled out the game last week.
Okay.
So I think he's
so
just
your
as a
midfield...
bit of a precaution for next week. He's not started.
Yeah, but yeah, your team is literally a replica of the Chelsea team at the moment. Just change the players around.
Yeah, right.
To be like,
again, that probably adds a little bit of bias into it. But it's a formation that England have used before, and also it's a formation that quite a lot of Premier League teams are adopting, particularly for big games. So I know whenever Chelsea come across one of the sort of big 6, they tend to match up against us. So I think most of these players will be experienced in this formation.
Can I just ask one thing? I understand, like, tactically you want to win and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You've gone 3 back. Fair enough. I understand. That gives Trent. It gives you the beauty of having Trent and like Shaw as like left wing backs.
Yeah.
Do you feel that if you're going 3 back, do you really need them 2 holding midfielders? Do you really need both of them? I feel like that's too negative. I understand the 3 back, but the 2 holding, I feel like that's just over. Like you're worrying too much.
I can see that. I think an option there would be to play Mount as one of the 2, and then you've got the space to chuck in Grealish.
Have a Grealish, yeah.
But it's definitely an option. As I said, I've just gone for stability, and I think those 2 in the middle are absolute workhorses.
I agree. I feel would be hard. I think would be hard to beat, but if we go to that formation, I think it would be hard to beat. But like Chelsea, it would be 1-0. And I don't get me wrong, you want to win the Euros. Like that's the number one objective.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like Chelsea, you can have that weird freak game where like it's tight. You can't quite get that goal, and then 1-0 down or something like that. Like I think there's that worry. Whereas if you do have a bit more freedom, you can kill games off. But I do agree, Southgate's not the type of manager to set up a team to kill a game off. I think that's been one of England's biggest problems under Southgate, to be honest. We don't kill games off. But yeah.
Right. Which I think also... so I think that kind of moves on quite nicely, because I think that sort of supports the role for having the likes of Sancho and Rashford, who have the numbers to come on a little bit later on, if we are looking to kill the games off. So
I tell you what, I'm just going to go. I'll just say my bench how it is.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it now, and no, okay, I have. So I've gone Pickford, obviously goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put a goalkeeper on. I've gone like goalkeeper, and then I've gone defender, midfielder, like attacking midfield, like them options. So I've gone Mings as a centre back, because I think Mings has had an outstanding year. I've then gone Trent, because Trent, I think you have the beauty of playing him as you either take him off for Walker, you put Walker as a centre back, and then you go like you would go 5 at back, which I'm not disputing isn't an option. I just wouldn't have 2 central defensive midfielders. I think you also have an option of Trent of, all right, game's not going our way, we're 1-0 down, we don't want to go to the 5 back, we don't really want to like go 3 back, put him on midfield, get him putting them balls in the box type thing, because we all know he used to play midfield, he could do it. I'm not saying we will actually do that, but having that option, Trent gives you options.
Yeah.
And I think that's good to have off the bench. Next player is midfield, and to be fair, it's the only out and out midfielder I have is Bellingham. I think what he's done for Dortmund, I think you can't look past him, to be honest. After that game against Man City in the Champions League, he stood out, and he was like, wow, where has this been? And you're like, last year everyone's poking fun at Man United for offering 40 million for an unknown teenager. A year later you think, they've missed out there. And then I've got Sterling and Rashford. and up 6, and then I was thinking I don't have a striker, but I thought Rashford, Sterling. Like, let's be honest, you're not taking Kane off.
No,
Even if he's blowing out his arse, you're not taking Kane off. So,
Rashford can play as a 9 as an option.
So I have 6, and
I can go through my 7.
I'll quickly just add. If you're adding 7, I kind of want to say it a 7th for you because I don't want to act like I'm copying you. But if it was a 7, I'd probably have to put Mason Greenwood in there, just like an absolute finisher. Like he's a quality finisher of the ball. Shoot from anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Or Maddison. Oh, you got Maddison as well. He's back from injury. Oh, he's horrible. It'd be Green. I'm not choosing Greenwood or Maddison. Just like, yeah, I'd have Greenwood or Maddison.
Okay.
Coming on because all right. I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay. So goalkeeper, just gone the opposite of you. I've gone for Pope. As I said, I think Pope could easily be starting. I'm not too bothered about that. As my sort of 2 defenders, one of them's a little bit sort of not controversial, but I think it's very unlikely, but I think he deserves a little bit of a discussion. Is Tomori, and the second half of the season he's had. I think there's obviously players in the Premier League, like you said, like you've got your Mings, you've got Connor Cody, who
I was going to say Connor Cody. I chose Mings over Cody.
I think at this point, as a substitute centre back, why not just go for someone a little bit younger?
It's not priority.
Who could do with a bit of experience in a national tournament, who's also had a very good season. We know he's a good player and he can play at a top level. I just thought, just throw that one in there a little bit. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd quite like to see it anyway. And my other defender, I've gone for Reece James, because a lot of the arguments I put forward earlier. I also think he can play in the position that Walker is playing as well, as sort of that right-sided centre-back, as he's done in the Champions League recently. And also obviously as a wing back as well. So I think he's a little bit versatile. He can play in different positions, and he's just strong overall. I think he's a top player. As the midfielders, I've obviously got Grealish there. I've got Maddison, who again I think he could play as a 2, but he's probably more likely to play as one of the attacking 3. I've got my formation.
I think he would play as a 2. I think this season he is. Yeah,
I think he can play both pretty competently. I like having players that have that sort of versatility. And then as my sort of attacking 2, I've gone for Rashford and Sancho. As I said, just they've got the numbers, and I think they can come on and have an impact.
Did you say Sterling?
So I've left out Sterling, which I understand is a little bit controversial. I just don't really like him.
A little bit.
I don't rate him.
I slag him off till the cows come home, but he gets numbers. He gets goals.
He does, but so does Rashford and Sancho.
And Bellingham. You didn't put Bellingham.
And I think Bellingham is another one that I'd want. No, I didn't forget him at all. I think he's another one that you'd like him there. He's definitely going to be in the squad, because I think having that experience at a tournament would be really good for him. I just think right now we've got players that can probably do the job a little bit better than him. But I think potentially even next year at the World Cup, he'll be in the team for sure.
I think the biggest worry, I have is us trying to prioritise experience and stability over the fact we've got young talents who can win us this competition. I think that's the biggest worry I have, because they're all good footballers, like the Walkers and the stuff, like the Hendersons and everyone like that. But these young talents are going to win it. Like Bellingham, like I said in the Man City game, he dominated. Absolutely, like he stood out. Really, really stood out. And like Maddison, I think Maddison's a very good player, but if I compare him, I'm like, yeah, Bellingham's better than him, type thing. But I think, to be honest, I think there's, if I'm being honest, I think there's let me go through this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's 5 absolute certainties in this squad and in this starting 11, and I think that's Maguire, Stones. Because I don't see who gets over Stones, to be honest, as that's other person to Maguire. No. Mount, Foden, and Kane. That's stem of the team, and I would put Rice in there, but I just don't know what Gareth's thinking. If he decides to go with my formation with one CDM, he may favour Henderson over him. So I think there's only 5 absolute guarantees.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how these predictions align with what Gareth actually goes with. It'd be quite interesting.
Oh, if I'm going with what I think Gareth's going with, I can tell you off the top of my head. I think if we're going with what Gareth's going to go with, I think it would be Pickford in goal, Walker, Maguire, Stones, Chilwell, Trippier, Rice. I don't think Henderson's going to be fit though, so I then think it'd be Foden, Mount, Kane, Sterling. Is that enough players?
I think that's
I'm trying to think. I'm really trying to. I was trying to base it off you. So yeah.
So to be fair, that's pretty Pickford similar to what I've got.
Trippier. Well, I don't want to say negativity CDMs. I'm not gonna lie. Do you want me to call you Gareth Southgate? I don't think that's a compliment, mate.
I'll take it as a compliment.
I'm not gonna lie.
The man's a legend.
If he doesn't win us this tournament, no, he's not. No, he's not. If this man doesn't win us this Euros, mate, he's getting sacked. I'm telling you now.
I think that's so harsh though, because there's so many good teams out there.
Why? All right. I will go. I did this other night because I'll ask you. I'll question you on it. All right, because we all know the bookies are always correct. Right, but let me get it up. So, tell me, who's the favourite to win the Euros?
Surely it's France.
There's 2. France is one of them.
France. I'll go with Portugal.
See, you've got no faith. England
up there, okay.
I don't know if I'm too confident about our squad depth, but you look at France, yeah, very good squad depth. Like, there's no disputing that. But being brutally honest here, I think the fact they've got Mbappe pushes them up a lot more. Like, I think people think, oh, Jesus Christ, I've got Mbappe. If we're being honest about them, Griezmann hasn't really done anything since he's gone to Barcelona. Do you think he's going to be up there? Do you think he's going to be scoring lots of goals? I don't. Pogba, yeah, he has a couple of good games for United and then goes missing a little bit. Kante, I give him. Kante's stepped it up. Mm-hmm. Their defense,
Benzema back, which is quite an interesting.
I give you Benzema and Mbappe. I'm scared of that. I'm scared of that up top. Mm-hmm. But I feel like we need to really look at our team. I think they've got a good chance.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
All right. So second favourite. Who do you think's second favourite? Oh, so we got England, France as favourites, and then who's the next? Who do you think's next?
Well, I would have gone.
I don't agree.
I would have gone Portugal, but perhaps Germany. I don't know.
So
Belgium.
It is then Belgium.
Right.
It is Belgium. I don't agree with that because Hazard hasn't performed all year. And I think like they can say Lukaku had a very good season and all that. I think you've seen it at Tottenham. You can have a striker having a good game, have a good season, score lots of goals, but can't win your games. I think they're really. They've got an aging squad. Really, I just don't see them as the threat they once were. Like when I say once were, the last couple of years, like that World Cup, they should have kicked on and done something better in that World Cup. And then so third favourites are Germany and Spain. Right. Germany aren't the same as what they were. Like you got Timo Werner and Havertz, they can't hit a barn door, mate.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
No, exactly. Spain. Who's Spain got? Like, let's think about the Spanish teams of the past and think of them now. I'm struggling to name the starting 11 for Spain.
You can't compare them. They're in a very different position.
Is that but, Portugal? I agree with you. I think Portugal have a good shout.
Mm-hmm.
Netherlands aren't the same anymore. They haven't got, especially Van Dijk being out. He's already said he's not at the Euros.
Right. Italy.
Who they got?
That's what I'm saying. I'd put them in that same category. Just.
So Netherlands, Italy, and Spain are all a bit of like who's who type thing. Like I don't think they've got enough stand-up. Spain, I think, have got a good enough squad, but they haven't got enough stand-up players to really like kick on. I think in the competition. I'm looking at when I look at the big nations and stuff. England, France. I don't see anyone actually comparing our teams. I can't see it.
I don't think there's any reason not to. I think we're in for a good shout. It
comes on to the next question. Would you lose our group? Would you purposely lose our group? Because there's a lot of people saying if we win our group, we then will go into a draw with France, Germany, Spain, or something.
I haven't looked too far into that, to be honest.
They're saying, but it's going to be like the World Cup type thing where the draw is massively favourable, supposedly.
Okay.
And they're saying maybe it's wise to draw that first game against Croatia.
But I think it's worth getting the points first, so we can be in a position where we can drop points rather than leave. I wouldn't want to leave it until that third game.
What do you mean? That's England way. That's England way. Don't you remember the 2018 World Cup? Was it Tunisia we had where Kane scored a penalty like last minute? And I was like, oh my god, this is not what I want. Like, I tell you, to talk about, so we said about our starting 11s, I think that first game against Croatia, I'd agree with you. I think he's going to go 3 back. I think he's going to try and shore it up a bit against Croatia.
Yeah.
And then I think the games against the Czech Republic and Scotland will be a bit more, come on, like, show us what you can do type thing.
I'd back that as well, to be fair. I think having that versatility is important, which is why some of those players that we picked in that, I've gone for 18 now. I think we've got quite a few versatile players that can play in both setups, which is a real positive.
Yeah, I'm looking at the odds type thing. 5-1 on England to win. It's worth tenner, isn't it?
Clap them. Definitely worth.
Nah, more than that. I'd put more than that on it. I don't know if I'm being naive here. I'm just looking at some of these nations and I'm just thinking, you're not what you were. You're not what you were. And we'll probably go out quarterfinals to Iceland or something like that. But are Iceland even in it?
I've no idea.
They're not, thank God. Thank God they're not in it.
Well, that's one less thing to worry about.
North Macedonia are in it. They may cause an Iceland upset. Poland are in it. Lewandowski, if he continues his goal scoring. Wales, are Wales going to upset things again? You just don't know how the tournament's going to go. Like, what do you think? How do you feel, actually, just odd about the Euros? But obviously, COVID times, a lot of things have changed and all that. Do you think the fact it's going to be in this country? Do you think that's going to massively support us, or is like not going to make too much of a difference?
I think it helps quite a bit. I think I don't know sort of what the statistics are like, but I'd imagine the host country tends to do better than they usually do on average. I think if you look back just to like Russia had that they overachieved compared to what most people would have thought they would have done. And I think a large part of that would have been the fact that they were hosting, and you can go back to I can't remember all the previous ones, but
Well,
I
look at
think
South Africa. Look at South Africa.
mm, yeah,
At World Cup, South Africa at the World Cup, they actually put in a few performances.
yeah. So
I
I
think
think yeah,
I'm not a fan. But yeah, I was going to say I'm not a fan of this whole Euros now is all across Europe. I like the idea of you have it in a country. Obviously, it's changed because of COVID and stuff, but we're not really a host country because the Euros was meant to be all
no,
around. I think there's still a game going ahead in Rome. I think is the first game in Rome or something.
I'm not too sure to be honest.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not too sure, but I like the idea of it being in one country. It's like the World Cup when they're talking about being across other loads of different regions, and I'm like, I like the idea of your team goes ahead, they get their training camp type thing. I think for players as well, I think they like the stability of tournament camp. I don't think this whole idea of swapping and changing around I don't think it's a good idea, to be honest.
No, I agree.
I'm not a fan. And also, this isn't Euros related, but I don't know if you heard in the news, FIFA have put forward a rule change for World Cup to go ahead every 2 years. Fan of it or not?
No, I think what makes the World Cup so exciting is the fact that you've got to wait 4 years till the next one. It's like the Olympics, isn't it? Like you've got a big 4 year cycle to prepare, look forward to this big tournament, and the fact that you've got the Euros as well, every 4 years as well, but obviously displaced by 2 years.
Yeah,
it gives enough to keep going and look forward to that World Cup. I think having it more frequently would just take away from the sort of specialness of it.
I also think it would be horrible for players because I agree with you. It takes the specialness away from it, but also they would never get a summer, really, would they?
It's true.
Because it'd be World Cup break. So I'm trying to think how it'd work. So let's say we got the Euros this year, and then we've got World Cup next year, and then we'd have a break, and then we'd have the World Cup, and then we'd have the Euros, and then we'd have a break, and then we'd have a World Cup, World Cup. Yeah, you'd get basically a summer off every 3 years. It wouldn't be the most ideal thing. I'm not a massive fan of it type thing, but yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm just looking at my team and I'm thinking, apart from Walker, that's a team for the World Cup as well. Them players are going to be the right age for the World Cup as well. I'm going to put it out there. I'll be very shocked if we don't have a major international trophy in the next 10 years. I would be very... And I will also go out and say, I don't think we'll have an international trophy, especially as Southgate's manager. I'm saying I'm confident in all that. I think when it comes to it, I think we'll probably lose the final to France or someone like that in this Euros. Because I don't rate Southgate as a manager. Let's be brutally honest about his career. He managed Middlesbrough. They didn't do anything. What has he done in his managerial career?
He took England to the semi-finals of the World Cup. I think that's enough.
No, the draw did. The draw. Elliot, no, I'm not having this conversation. The draw took us to that. So if we break it down, we played crap. We didn't play well. The Colombia game, he got a lucky penalty. We were basically out of that penalty shootout, and then Pickford saved us. And Eric Dyer, of all people, scored the winning penalty.
I don't know, mate. I think he gets a bad rep, and
I don't know. To be honest, I think it's an honest
give him a chance. See how he does. See how he does in this Euros, and then we can make a judgment of him. But I think it's too early to say that we're not going to win anything under him.
And also, you've based your team on the Chelsea formation and tactics at the moment. Do you think Southgate is as good as Tuchel? Do you think he can replicate that?
Obviously not. But
Is that, mate, this
as I
is
said,
the thing.
England have used the setup as well, and it's been good for us.
Has it been good?
Yeah.
Really? It's been good.
I think the fact that people are talking about the fact that we could win this competition.
That's because of the players. It's not because of the manager.
I think it's because I don't agree with that because it's the team.
Yes,
England have been playing well.
And who manages the team?
I don't know, mate. I think this is probably something that we need to pick up on after the Euros, because I think it's too early to make a judgment on that.
I just want to say, so the World Cup, okay, so we won our first group game 2-1 against Tunisia. Last minute goal, Hurricane. Like, sorry, I thought it was 1-0, but it's 2-1. Then beat Panama 6-1. Wow, what a performance. We then lose to Belgium. Okay. So we get through in a group stage after smashing Panama and just beating Tunisia. Mm-hmm. Like, let's make that obvious. Then lose to one good team we face, we lose. We then face Colombia, 1-0, penalty. Just get through. We play Sweden, and I can't remember what the second goal was, but I remember one of the goals was a Harry Maguire set piece. It wasn't it wasn't that good a game, to be honest. We got through, type thing. I don't remember dominating them or anything like that. And then we get to the semi-final. We score a free kick early and lose 2-1 to Croatia. And you're telling me we did well? Then we have a third place game against Belgium and lose 2-0. Let's be brutally honest here. He was gifted that World Cup. He was gifted that World Cup run, and we couldn't pull it off. If you're telling me we managed to get... We squeezed through against Tunisia, and then we have Colombia, Sweden, and Croatia. You are laughing your head off. Oh my God, what a run. Oh, we've missed out on Germany, we missed out on Spain, missed out on Portugal, Argentina, Brazil, France. Missed out on all of them. Can't even get to the final. I'm not being cynical because look at my lineup. I just think Southgate tactically isn't good enough to orchestrate a 1-0 win. I feel we're just going to have to put a team out and let the team play to win. I think that's the only chance we've got.
Well, he's the man we've got, so let's be positive and support him. Because we've got no other choice.
Let's be positive. Let's. I tell you what, actually.
I think, mate, we're gonna have to round it up there.
Oh yeah, last game of the season, isn't it? Last game of the season.
Yeah,
it is 4:00. But yeah, I will pick this up after the Euros, or actually after our group stage when we're probably knocked out. But yeah, no. Okay, so yeah, we're in there. All right, different formations, different tactics. End of day, all I want is for it to come home.
Yes.
Will it happen? No. Will it not? We'll have to wait and see. Yeah,
all right, fingers crossed.